What's up guys, I'm here with another video. Welcome to episode 92 of Let's Build a City. Today we're building a bee farm slash honey farm. So yeah. Let's build a bee farm slash honey farm.
Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a honey farm slash bee farm, bee ranch.
Hello bee bot, welcome to live stream.
It's a really cool rural build that will grow great on the edge of your cities if you are looking for something that's a little bit more naturalistic. And not only will I show you how to make the outside of your build, but you had best believe that I will show you how to make the entire inside of your build as well. Also featuring the Honeymobile. Haha. Yeah. If you do enjoy this tutorial, please do remember to subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and click that little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. But without any further ado, let's get started. You won't believe how much fun I had making this one. Oh no, I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to my bee. Now I'll just have to give him a high five. I'm going to start this tutorial. So, just before we get started, everybody, here are all of the materials that you will need to make.
Alright, let's grab them. Light grey concrete, white concrete.
Your bee farm slash honey shop. Please do make sure that you have access to all those materials and enough of them as well. And do bear in mind that later on we are going to be grabbing more stuff as well, but I'll show you a new item list when we get to that point. The amount of space required to make the farm is a 27 by 28 block area, as represented by the white concrete grid that you can see on the ground. Feel free to make this grid in your world if you are planning things out. And that's it. Make sure that you got all that sorted, make sure you got all of those materials, make sure you're ready, and once you are, we can begin. Step 1, my bee building enthusiasts, get all the way over to the front right hand corner of your grid, if you've made it. Count backwards from this corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then go left by 1. We're going to start this build off by placing a light grey concrete on the ground, with 3 white concrete on top of it. 1, 2, 3. Extend that white concrete to the left by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you can join that down.
Yeah, yep, that's 6.
With a mixture of white concrete and also light grey. But what's more important is that we are going to take that white concrete block and extend it backwards by a further 14.
14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. To which you can then do a similar thing. You can extend it down to the ground with a mixture of white and light grey concrete to hit the ground. We are then going to extend this corner of white concrete across the side of the build, and we want to join it all the way to the very front of the build like this. And then we can turn this into a corner as well by using the same strategy. The right side of the build we are simply going to fill in with a row of light grey concrete at the bottom and white concrete in between. We'll be using the same strategy for the very end of the building as well, like this. Now for the sides of the building, this is where things differ. So for instance, on this side of the building, I want you to, in the ground, dig out 2 grass extending towards the front of the build, and I want you to do the same on the opposite side. Dig out 2 grass and differ. So, for instance, on this side of the building, I want you to, in the ground, dig out 2 grass extending towards the front of the build, and I want you to do the same on the opposite side. Dig out 2 grass and replace it with some spruce planks or slabs or whatever, as long as it looks like spruce. We're going to place double doors on top of these 2 planks, glass block on top of the doors, and then we are going to have in between these just 1 window, and it's going to stand from the front of the build. We're going to place ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4 light grey concrete, and then we're going to place a 2 by 2 square of light blue glass on top of the light grey concrete. We'll continue extending the light grey concrete towards the back doors. We'll place white concrete in between all of this, so we just want to fill in this particular part of the wall, and later on we'll get back to this. Although, what we could do now, which would actually be quite good, is we can grab our yellow concrete, and basically the space in between the back doors and this window is where we are going to write honey. And honey is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is 5 letters, so you want to place 5 yellow concrete, and you want to extend those yellow concretes upwards as well. What you can then do is extend the actual sign here, you can extend it backwards. Now, I think you only have to extend the top of the sign backwards by maybe 2 rows to get full coverage with the roof, but we'll also extend the first row backwards as well to kind of create kind of like a step sort of shape. We might have to alter that slightly, but that's kind of what we want to have so far. On the front part of the build here, we want to also have a window. The window's quite easy to do. Simply connect the light grey concrete together at the base, place a 2 by 2 square of light blue glass pane on the left side of the build, and then fill the remaining part in using some white concrete. There is one small thing that I was going to add later, but we can add it now, is a small chimney, and that was going to be added on this part of the build, just to make it look a tiny bit more rustic, because I'm trying to go for a blend of like a modern / rustic-ish looking sort of shop. The chimney is going to be 2 rows away from the back corner of the build, so we leave a gap of 2 and then 1, 2 terracottas. The terracottas are going to extend up high, probably 1 row higher than the actual sign as well, and the terracottas are also going to extend 1 row inwards. So if you can imagine, it's pretty much like near where the sign is, except it's just 1 row higher, like that. We're going to fill the floor in. The floor inside the build is going to be spruce. Again, I'm trying to go for like, I've kind of built a weird blend of building, honestly, and that's kind of how I like it. It's not like made out of wood, so it's not like a cabinet. It's kind of like it's almost like an old building that's been like repurposed into something sort of new, like it's been modernised a little bit. And that's the sort of feel that I like. So that's why we're using the spruce, and that's why we're using the concrete, just so that it kind of feels, hopefully, a little bit like that. So we just want to refloor the place. The roof is really easy to do. We use spruce wood slabs, and we place a layer of spruce wood slabs on the far ends, the short ends of the build. The spruce wood slabs overhang in every sense of the word spruce wood slabs, and we place a layer of spruce wood slabs on the far ends, the short ends of the build. The spruce wood slabs overhang in every sense of the word, and then on the ends they taper upwards, extending in and up and in and up and in and up, eventually until they will join together at the top and they will reach kind of like a point like this. That will necessitate having to place 1, 2, 3 white concrete on the 3 middle blocks here on the ends of the build, and that's how things are going to go. So I'm actually going to that will necessitate having to place 1, 2, 3 white concrete on the 3 middle blocks here on the ends of the build, and that's how things are going to go. So I'm actually going to extend all the way back like this. You'll have to negotiate with the chimney, and you will also have to negotiate with the sign as well. Whatever ends up happening with the sign, whether we have to take some blocks off of it or whether we have to add some, it doesn't really matter. We will sort it, we will fix it when it gets to it on the inside, like this. And like I said, you just want to extend all of these slabs. In an ideal world, for some of this, I would use some spruce planks instead of just slabs that we have here. But it seems as though that this is not an ideal world. Oh, it would seem as though, by the way, also that we didn't need that row of yellow at all. So this can actually go because it isn't visible from the outside, so absolutely no need to have it. I did think that we would need it, so I didn't just randomly place it. And there we go, we did, all we needed were the extra 2 rows at the top extending backwards, as you can see, because otherwise we would have had spruce wood, the spruce wood slabs wouldn't have looked quite right. So they did need just something to grip onto here, otherwise the sign would be kind of floating, which is actually something that you might have liked yourself. If you want the sign to kind of float instead of it integrate into the roof, it need just something to grip. Absolutely no need to have it. I did think that we would need it, so I didn't just randomly place it. And there we go, we did, all we needed were the extra 2 rows at the top extending backwards, as you can see, because otherwise we would have had spruce wood, the spruce wood slabs wouldn't have looked quite right. So they did need just something to grip onto here, otherwise the sign would be kind of floating, which is actually something that you might have liked yourself. If you want the sign to kind of float instead of it integrate into the roof, that's something you might want to do. But it's such a small, personal, little finicky thing, it's really not a big deal what you do. And you can change anything as well, I do want to point that out. But in doing that, you will have created a large amount of, there we go, that's pretty much the entire building made. I'm just going to come inside and I'm going to clean things up a little bit. And the only way that I'm going to clean it up is I'm going to place 2 rows of upside down spruce wood stairs inside the top of the build here. We might place a little bit more upside down spruce wood stairs later, but we've got quite a lot of things on this wall, so we probably don't want to occupy this space, quite honestly. So there we go, we'll just stick with that. Actually, you know what, whilst we are on the inside, there are just a couple of things we can do. We can't do too much, we don't have all of the materials, not nearly enough, but what we can do is we can create the desk, the counter space, which is just, it's basically just left of this window here, so extending outwards here. We want to place a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 light grey concrete. This is where the counter space is. All the way in this corner we have kind of like some honeycomb behind a glass case, which I kind of like. And let's just use some yellow concrete for this and place 1, 2, 3 yellow concrete on the ground with light grey concrete around it, and that's where the honeycomb is going to go later. Pretty much everything else I don't think that we can do with the materials that we have handy. So we're just going to exit there for the moment. I want to lay out some better foundations for the outside of our shop. So we're actually going to get rid of, not get rid, we're going to hang on to them sort of. We're going to keep on to these, but we're going to grab the spruce fence gate, wooden shovel, smooth stone oak. Grey concrete, the white tulips loops, and the white banners. We're going to grab all of these for the moment. We are going to first of all place a row of white tulips in front of the build here just on the right. You could also use the yellow flowers, by the way, that would also look perfectly great. We want to create a fence that goes around the outside of this. It's basically just like a little family-owned sort of little bee farm business. That's pretty much all it is. Something that you might see like driving past your car like in the countryside. That's the sort of vibe that I want from this place. And we're going to place a row of 4 fence extending from the opposite side of the front door. So 1, 2, 3, 4 fence. 2 fence gate, 1, 2, 6 fence, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
We're going to extend the fence backwards, and we're going to join it to the back part of the building. So we're just making somewhat of a square. It's not quite a square, no. It's almost a square, but it's not quite. So we just want to have something like that. Or is it square? Who knows? I think it might be. Regardless, we are going to then place 2 rows of grass path around the edge of the fence. So we will look a little something like this. Just like so, just going all the way around the edge of the fence. There we go. That's looking pretty good. So, the next thing that we want to do is we want to add 2 rows of stone path. So that's going to be made out of smooth stone. These are going to be equal to the row of grass path that we have just ahead of us. So we're going to have 2 rows of smooth stone. This is kind of just like a walkway. We're going to use our oak leaves, and we're going to leave a gap next to the door and a gap on the left. So 2 rows on the left, 2 rows on the right, like that. In addition to this, what we are then going to do is we are going to add some... I'm just going to get rid of the shovel for a second, and we're going to grab the white concrete. And I want to make some kind of like car parking spaces, and I kind of want to lay out where like the boundaries of all of this build is. So from the edge here, where we have the smooth stone, we're going to dig 1, 2, 3, 4 grey concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to dig 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 white...
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Concretes like this, and we're going to stick an oak leaf on the end. And basically, what we want to do is we want to dig in between all of these white lines here, this whole white line. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's going to be grey concrete, and then we're going to stick a white concrete on. One, 2, 3, 4, like this, and then white concrete on the end. So on and so forth, and you'll actually eventually get to the point where you will hit the boundary, which is here, and we want all of these white concretes, of course, they all want to be the same length as each other. I know that it looks a little bit confusing at the moment because I have used white for the building boundary, but that last row of white shouldn't be here. And basically the purpose of this is for us to place leaves all the way around it. So again, we're kind of going for kind of like a modern / rustic sort of like country blend of materials. So plenty of nature involved with this. I mean, with these, I don't know the way around it. So like the building boundary, but that last row of white shouldn't be here. And basically the purpose of this is for us to place leaves all the way around it. So again, we're kind of going for kind of like a modern / rustic sort of like country blend of materials. So plenty of nature involved with this. I mean, with these, I don't think you can get too much more naturalistic than that. And as you can imagine, this is what the car park is going to look like. So all of it, like this white concrete here will be turned to grey. All of the remaining grass that is outside of the the B area is actually going to be ripped up and turned into grey concrete. I think that I don't think you can get too much more naturalistic than that. And as you can imagine, this is what the car park is going to look like. So all of like this white concrete here will be turned to grey. All of the remaining grass that is outside of the B area is actually going to be ripped up and turned into grey concrete. I think that I'm actually going to do that right now, but we can save this for later. So let me get rid of it and let me replace it for you, and I'll show you what it looks like, because it will look way better. There we go, that looks way better. So now that all of that has been dug up and replaced, and of course if you want to work on that right now, you are more than welcome to. I just wanted to get that done so that it looked a little bit better as we were finishing this tutorial up. We are now going to let me get rid of it and let me replace it for you, and I'll show you what it looks like, because it will look way better. There we go, that looks way better. So now that all of that has been dug up and replaced, and of course if you want to work on that right now, you are more than welcome to. I just wanted to get that done so that it looked a little bit better as we were finishing this tutorial up. We are now going to do the sign. So for the next part we'll need the loom, the yellow banners. To get that done so that it looked a little bit better as we were finishing this tutorial up. We are now going to do the sign. So for the next part we'll need the loom, the yellow banners, we need the white dye, yellow dye, we use some oak wood, some oak leaves. We are now going to do the sign. So for the next part we'll need the loom, the yellow banners, we'll need the white dye, yellow dye, we'll use some oak wood, some oak leaves, bee nest, honey blocks and some scaffolding for this next part that we're going to be working on. So I'm going to chuck the loom down, we're going to work on the banners first of all. So let's crack open this loom, let's move the yellow banners to the correct position, top left corner just to the right, and we're going to stick a brand new banner in there with the white dye. So a vertical row of white on right side of the banner, vertical row of white on the left side of the banner, horizontal row of white straight through the middle will give us our first letter, which is H. H for honey. The next letter is going to be O. That couldn't be much simpler. We'll start with a horizontal row on the right, horizontal row at the top rather, horizontal row at the bottom, vertical row on the right and a vertical row on the left to give it a nice full covering of white dye. The next letter that we're going to be doing is N, so that is a brand new banner in there, vertical row of white on the right, vertical row of white of dye on the left, and then top left corner to bottom right corner using the white dye. That leaves us just two letters left. Let's make some room for them. Horizontal row through the middle, top left corner to bottom. We'll grab that banner. Y is where one gets the honeys. Y. So Honey, and then we can place that on our sign, just like that. And then that lets everybody know that this is where one gets the honey. So I'll tell you what I'm actually going to do to make my inventory a little bit better. I'm going to put the nest, honey block and scaffolding in there, dump these, and then put the next part of the tutorial. We're going to be using some honey blocks, scaffolding, we'll be using the beehive, trevally hooks, weighted pressure plate releases, and then for the next part of the tutorial we're going to be using some honey blocks, scaffolding, we'll be using the beehive, wire hooks, weighted pressure plate releases, the oak wood, the leaves, we need a bee nest, and also probably the spruce wood stairs too. So we're going to make where the bees hang out, which is just out here. And the way that we're going to position the bees hang out is, first of all, we're going to place just a honey block here underneath the left corner of this window, the only window on this side. We're going to leave a gap of 2 and then place scaffold. Gap of 2, place just a honey block here underneath the left corner of this window, the only window on this side. We're going to leave a gap of 2 and then place scaffold. Gap of 2, scaffolding. Gap of 2 moving backwards, scaffolding, gap of 2 to the right, scaffolding. So, there are only 4 little places for the bees. If you wanted to, you could also leave like a gap of 2, like you can have more if you want to. You know, you can have this many if you want. Let's try this many. We'll give this a... And on top of all of the scaffoldings, we are going to place beehives with no exceptions, and we're going to place weighted pressure plates on top of the beehives as well. And we're going to attach tripwire hooks to the sides of them, just because I think it makes it look kind of cool, honestly, like this. It also kind of makes it look like an animal for some reason. And once you've done that, that's where the bees hang out. In the back left-hand corner of the build, literally just like extending inwards diagonally from this corner, I want a tree. I don't want to grow one using bone meal, so I'm going to use oak wood, probably about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, probably about 4 blocks off the ground. We're going to put some oak leaves all the way around the top of that 4th block here, and then we're going to stick a beehive hanging off the underside of this. Do we want to, maybe about here? Will look pretty good. I quite like that. And then all we have to do is quite easy to make a tree. We can extend all of those sides outwards, but don't connect the corners. And then if you extend those sides upwards, all we have to do is quite easy to make a tree. We can extend all of those sides outwards, but don't connect the corners. And then if you extend those sides upwards like this, like so, and then if you fill the middle in, and then you kind of make like a plus shape, like this. You can just make a plus shape, and then you can like stick one on top, and then that's a pretty simple way to make a tree. If you want to randomize it a little bit, you can of course just add like, make it look a little bit, just add a couple of blocks in the plus shape, and then you can like stick one on top, and then that's a pretty simple way to make a tree. If you want to randomize it a little bit, you can of course just add like, make it look a little bit, just add a couple of blocks here and there, chop and change some blocks, and then that way it'll look a little bit more man-made. But other than that, that's a pretty good formation of where we keep all of our honey. There is also all of our bees, which, of course, thankfully for us, thank you Mr. Bee or Mrs. Bees. Okay, is it just male bees that produce honey? The queen bee doesn't produce honey, right? I have no idea how bees work. Somebody can hopefully tell me how that works. We're going to use spruce wood stairs, and we're just going to create a little table, 2 upside down spruce wood stairs against each other. We might even shift it over a block here. I think that this is an okay position. Yeah, that would be fine. Just a little table that we are going to have there. And then that, ladies and gentlemen, I think that we've actually went through the usefulness for most of our materials. So, for this next part, I think that we have to have done all of these materials. We will be reusing some, but I have tried my best to limit what materials we will be reusing. But for the next part, this is what we're going to be doing. These materials that you can now see on the screen right now.
Let's grab them.
This is what we're going to be using to hopefully close out this tutorial. Once you have all of those, once you have enough of them, we can get started on the next part of this. Okay, so we're going to start this party off by grabbing the spruce trap doors, the armor stats, item frames, honey bottles, bone meal maybe, wooden shovels, glass, quartz slab, and some leaf love. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't realise how much crossover there actually would be from what we were using from what we are now going to use, so I do apologise that we are using a few of the older materials as well, but hopefully you didn't get rid of them all and we can continue on. So, what are we going to do first of all? First, I want to place spruce trap doors all the way around this honey block that we placed earlier. I just want it to look like a barrel of honey. On top of this table here, I want to place an item frame with a honey bottle. I think that will to stick an armor stand next to it. I think that we're going to outfit this later with some iron armor because it looks like if not white dyed leather, does look exactly like that. So we're going to use the wooden shovel, and I do wish that I would have done this earlier, to kind of just like mess up around where the beehives are. Just to make it look as though there has been some foot traffic around them, so that they're being tended to, kind of like this. Now, we're risking this with the bone meal, but I want flowers and vegetation and stuff around. That is the exact opposite of what I want. I want to create kind of like a... I want a load of flowers and stuff in the bee area for them to go around and kind of like pollinate and enjoy. So unfortunately the bone meal didn't really give a high density of flowers. We'll have to sort that out later. If you wanted to now, you could whip out a load of flowers, and we'll definitely be fixing that later. But we do want it to look like lived in. We do want it to look as though it's like more natural. Now that we've done that, we're actually going to head inside. And we're first of all going to, on top of this yellow concrete area here, we're going to add a couple of rows of honeycomb, like this. We're going to stick some glass around it, like so, and we're just going to stick some quartz slabs. There we go. The reason that I'm actually doing this, by the way, is because once upon a time, when I was a lot younger, I remember going to a farm shop, and I actually remember there being a display very much like this one, funnily enough. So that's kind of why I decided to recreate it. It looks pretty much exactly like this, except not in a video game. The next thing that we're going to do is, I think that we're going to have to whip out some different stuff. We'll grab the honeycomb. We'll keep the honeycomb out, but we're going to be using the spruce trap doors. We'll need ourselves the item frames. We'll need the honey bottles again. We'll need flower pots, barrels. We'll probably also use scaffolding, beehives, and tripwire hook again. Also the heavy pressure plates. So next to this display, I'm just going to chuck like a honeycomb block, and we're going to kind of put in a barrel. I'm going to stick item frames above it, honey bottles. I'm going to decorate the area a little bit, place a few barrels next to the actual like like here. I'm going to stick like a scaffolding with like a beehive on here, and like to the actual like like here. I'm going to stick like a scaffolding with like a beehive on here, and like the triple hook again, and put like an item frame with some honey bottles on there, and I'm just going to stick that weighted pressure plate. We're basically just trying to decorate this and make it look like a worked-in, lived-in shop, kind of, you know. We could even have like a window here too, which we may or may not have. I'll leave that space open, and we'll add a window there later. Against this back wall here, like the opposite wall here, we're just going to have some more kind of like supplies as well. So maybe just kind of like a few beehives, maybe stick a barrel on here too, maybe just like a tripwire hook against it. No, we'll skip the tripwire hook. We'll place like, again, an armor stand, which I think that we're going to outfit with like a beekeeper uniform. We can stick like a flower pot as well on top of one of the barrels here. We're going to outfit with like a beekeeper uniform. We can stick like a flower pot as well on top of one of the barrels here. I think I'm going to put a lantern here for light. Here where the actual like cash register will be, where the till and where you can buy everything, we'll put a lantern here for light. Here where the actual like cash register will be, where the till and where you can buy everything, this is going to be like, we'll need some shelves, some like books and stuff, so like bookshelves. We'll probably use the barrels again. Definitely going to grab the lanterns, maybe a beehive, I don't know whether that would be too much, some honeycomb, item frames. We might even have like a scaffolding as well. We'll need the quartz stairs and we'll need the weight pressure plate again. Those last two are for, we're just going to have like a cash register here with a weight pressure plate next to it. Along this back wall we'll need the quartz stairs and we'll need the weight pressure plate again. Those last two are for, we're just going to have like a cash register here with a weight and pressure plate next to it. Along this back wall, just start off by building like 3 or so rows of bookshelves, maybe 4, like that. And then what we can do is we can kind of like chunk out some and stick like a lantern on here, maybe chunk the middle out and we can have like a barrel, maybe like a beehive, maybe just like an item frame with some honeycomb just behind it, kind of like a lantern on here, maybe chunk the middle out and we can have like a barrel, maybe like a beehive, maybe just like an item frame with some honeycomb just behind it, kind of like this, you know. We could even stick like a scaffolding back here as well, just to make it look. And then we could shift that over, and then we could even stick like a scaffolding back here as well, just to make it look. And then we could shift that over, and then the scaffolding can kind of like just like go in the corner a little bit. That's looking pretty good. We can even put some more like item frames with like honeycombs. We could even stick like a flower pot here as well if we wanted to, or perhaps in this corner here, something like that. We're going to stick another lantern here. We could even stick like a flower pot here as well if we wanted to, or perhaps in this corner here, something like that. We're going to stick another lantern here too. That's keeping the area quite nice and bright as is. I don't think we need any more. You could even add another window back here if you wanted to, but I think I'm going to add like a little painting. I want to add curtains and a bell, so yellow banners, a bell. The bell's going to go to the side of the door like this, so when you open the door, I want to add curtains and a bell, so yellow banners, a bell. The bell's going to go to the side of the door like this, so when you open the door, cha-ching, cha-ching, we're going to place just yellow banners. Those kind of look like curtains. We can give this area like a carpet, so that can be a mix of white carpet and light grey. So white carpet and light grey, kind of like, I don't know whether yellow would actually be too much, otherwise I would have included a yellow carpet. Shall we just see? Shall we see if yellow carpets of white carpet and light grey? So white carpet and light grey, kind of like, I don't know whether yellow would actually be too much, otherwise I would have included a yellow carpet. Shall we just see? Shall we see if yellow carpet looks silly or not? Let's add some light coming towards this back door. I don't know. I don't know how yellow carpet looks. I don't know whether that looks a little bit too goofy. Maybe, maybe not. I'll let you guys decide whether that looks silly or not. Let's add some glass to this window here. I just want it to kind of look like a little, almost like a cramped, filled up farm shop. That's kind of like the vibe that I'm going for here. So that's kind of, I think that we've kind of just done it. Do we have a painting? We have painting. So we can have like a 1x1 might be good. Just kind of know. Yeah, that's actually perfect. Just there would look pretty good. Like a 1x1 might be good. Just kind of know. Yeah, that's actually perfect. Just there would look pretty good. I don't think that there's another place for one. Maybe above here would be nice. There's two. yellowish sort of paintings. One of them is the one that we placed. That is a good alternative as well. So just a couple of those. We could even have one like over here if we wanted to. I don't know if there's a yellow 1x2, so we might have just got the perfect one, which kind of blends into the wall a little bit, which is the white and blackish or white and greyish one here, and that might be. We could even stack that a bit higher if we wanted to as well. So yeah, that's kind of like what we're going for here. You could stack more stuff towards the end if you wanted, more barrels, more stuff. You know, just if you want to, you can really crowd this place out. And I think it actually benefits from it quite a lot. I think it's kind of like a cool shop. I think it's an interesting store. I think so anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, once you've done that, I do just want to kind of like add more flowers to this point, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm actually just I'm gonna get rid of a lot of the grass, the actual grass, the grown grass, tall grass, and I'm going to replace it with some flowers. So let me show you what that'll look like. There we go. That just looks a little bit better. You can see that I've just added a lot more colour, a lot more diversity of flowers. I guess it was a little silly of me to think that bone meal would do the job, but yeah, that's what we have. I think that's looking pretty good. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? I would usually end this right here, but I'm going to throw you a very special vehicle that you may or may not want to add to this build. I'm going to show you how to make the Honey Mobile. Here are all of the materials that you need to make the Honey Mobile. If you want to make this, you feel free. It's basically... like a special like honey farm sort of van. You may or may not want to make it. It's just kind of like a fun thing just to throw in the corner of this place. So that's all you'll need to make it. Once you have all that stuff, we can get it started. It's really fast. So now that we have all of that stuff, we can make the Honey Mobile. So the first thing that we're going to have to do when making the Honey Mobile is we're going to have to place it over here somewhere. So this is why, by the way, we actually have this road up here, so that we can actually make this vehicle. The only reason it's going to start, we'll probably place it maybe like 1, 2, 3, probably about 3 or so rows in to where the fence is, and you can start off by placing a wheel, which is, and we'll place that 1 row backwards actually, because, so start off by placing a black concrete here, that's going to be a wheel. Place 3 smooth stone slabs behind it, 1, 2, 3, and then a black concrete, smooth stone slab, add a strip of smooth stone slabs up the middle, make sure it overhangs the front wheel, and then place another smooth stone slab in front of the front wheel. Copy what you have on the other side, so basically the smooth stone slabs and the black concrete. Stick buttons on the ends of the black concrete. The only problem with doing this on the inside part is that it will remove the grass path, but that's not too bad, that's okay. Now, once we've done that, we want to place a blast furnace on the middle front part of the vehicle with a ladder in front of it. We want to place upside down quartz stairs, left and right of the blast furnace with item frames hanging off. We want to place 2 rows of block of quartz extending backwards from the upside down quartz stairs, and we want to fill in between the middles of them. We want to place a row of quartz blocks extending across the back of the build like this. We might even knock out the middle one and place a glass pane there. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to place glass pane like this. Actually, you know what? We will knock out the middle one, but for a different reason. We'll have glass pane coming across the front of it. And we also want to extend quartz slabs across the top here, the 2 blocks of quartz, and then the quartz slabs are going to extend over the front here, hanging over the glass a little bit. So we can actually get rid of most of this stuff, I want to say. We will need the item frames again, we will need red concrete, we will need screw size. Iron doors, bees nest, tripwire hook, block of iron. We will need block of iron, weighted pressure plate, and maybe the glass as well. Blocks of iron are for the item frames on the front of the vehicle. We're going to give a spruce sign. We're going to have that as a license plate. It's going to be the we're going to have the Honeymobile, or maybe we'll call it Honey One. We'll call it Honey One. That's what we'll call it. That's the Honeymobile Honey One. We want to build the back part. This is a van, as I mentioned, so we're going to use bees nests, or beehives. Yeah, these are nests, and you have to place bees nests inwards to not get the the holes for the bees nest. So we kind of want to place them like this, fill the top in like that, and then you'll see you'll get a very smooth covering along the the holes for the bees nest. So we kind of want to place them like this, fill the top in like that, and then you'll see you'll get a very smooth covering along the back like this. You can even add like a window into the back of the van if you want, like a double window using the glass. The reason that we actually removed this glass here is so if you want, you can have it so that you can kind of like see right into the back of the vehicle, so you can like have that glass guard and you can just have it like that. We're going to stick some weighted pressure plate on top of the blast furnace on the front. We're going to use tripwire hooks as door handles. This will go here on the back pairs of block of quartz. Weighted pressure plate on top of the blast furnace on the front. We're going to use tripwire hooks as door handles. This will go here on the back pairs of block of quartz. We're going to use an iron door here so you can get in and out the back, but of course we're not going to make a way to get inside of it. I'm going to stick another spruce sign here, and this will just say B1. And then we're going to stick item frames with red concrete on the back 2 corners, and a sign here, and this will just say B1. And then we're going to stick item frames with red concrete on the back 2 corners, and that is pretty much going to be the Honeymobile complete. It's just like a fun honey themed van. It kind of just goes with like the rest of the place, a bee themed van I should say. And in doing that, ladies and gentlemen, you will have actually completed this tutorial. Very well done, very well done. You have managed to completely make this build. So this is what your honey farm, bee farm, honey shop, honey ranch, farm shop should look like once it has been 100% fully completed.
I have finished a bee farm slash honey farm. Bee farm slash honey farm. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me building a bee farm slash honey farm. If you did guys enjoyed this video, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video from me. And I'll see you guys soon. Have a lovely day guys. Bees out. Get it? Bee? Okay, I'm gonna end the video.